Page 38, stepping along. They talk about sight reading. Sight reading is where you sit down at a piece of music you've never played and you just play it. Play it at sight. That's sight reading. Some people are really good at it. Some people are really bad at it. Doesn't matter. It's a personal thing. But some things that'll help you in the music, in sight reading, or in just learning the music is you'll notice certain relationships in the music and certain patterns, and this will help you because you'll remember these patterns and these relationships over time, and that'll help you in learning a piece of music. For instance, at the beginning of this, you have two middle C's, and then in the next measure, notice the notes go up, line space, they're next to each other going up the staff, and when it happens, you're going up the piano. They're just stepping here. We call it a step when it's the note next to it. And you'll notice these steps where the notes are next to the other note. And that's something that will help you when you're sight reading. It goes up one, so I'll just go up one. On the piano, it takes a little time to get used to it, but that's the whole idea of what they're trying to present here. And the second line there, the bass clef, you get the same thing. Second measure, they're going down by steps. One, and then just moving a step at a time. They're all next to each other. That's by steps. Well, if you look at the bottom, the bottom page there, you see the first, they're all going up step at a time. Up there, and then third measure over, you're just going down a step at a time. Same thing for the left hand. That's really all they're after. Just know what a step is, and you'll learn to recognize them in the music because it comes in handy occasionally. However, I'd like to take advantage of this since I don't have anything more to say here and talk about some more of these symbols that you're seeing in the music I haven't talked about yet. Because all these musical symbols you're seeing in the written music are important, and you need to know what they are. And you'll learn them eventually, you'll use them so much. But some of them I haven't talked about. For instance, in stepping along, in the bottom staff where the bass clef is, you see these little boxes there? Those are called rests. It's a box that hangs below the line, and that's important. It needs to be there, right there, hanging below the line. It's called a whole rest. You see, for every note, there is a corresponding rest. A quarter note, quarter rest. Half note, half rest. Whole note, whole rest. It's a whole note, a whole rest. It does the same thing as the note as far as counting goes. The difference is, for a rest, you're quiet. You don't do anything. Because every measure has to have 4 beats in it. That's the rule. And 4/4 time, every measure's got to have 4 beats. You can't have an empty measure, is what they're saying. So when they don't want you to play anything in the measure, they just put in a whole rest. Because a whole rest not only can be a whole equal to a whole note, it can also just represent a whole measure, regardless of how many beats are in it. So those boxes simply mean in the left hand where that's playing that staff, you're quiet. And in the second line, the boxes are in the upper staff. That means the right hand is quiet. But it needs to be there to be correct as far as the counting goes. Then the other thing we need to talk about is at the end of the second line, you see 2 bar lines, a thin one and a thick one. They're together. That is the musical symbol for the end of a piece. If you look at music, wherever, any music, at the end of it, somewhere, there needs to be this symbol. That tells you the piece ends there. It's not always at the end. Sometimes it's in the middle, because pieces can jump around. The flow is not start to finish. The flow is going wherever. We'll talk about that too, because it's interesting sometimes. What's the roadmap? How do I get to the end? Type thing. But wherever the end is, it should have that thin and thick bar line. Here at the beginning, between the staves, they have an F. F means forte. Forte means loud. And we had an MF before for moderately loud. This is loud. What's loud to you? I don't know. It's a personal thing. It's loud. Don't get really loud, because there's louders than this. It's just loud. And the whole thing is loud. There's no other dynamic given, so it's loud all the way to the end. Even the second line when the bass... See that in the middle like that, it applies to everything. Not really, but right now it does. So it's all loud. Even the left hand is loud. Now I'd like to do a play with me on both of these, stepping along and this thing at the bottom. This line at the bottom, it doesn't have a title. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us 4 counts, 1, 2, ready, go. And we're going to play stepping along. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, ready, go again. And we're going to play these 2 lines at the bottom, just one after another. So we'll play the whole page here. Slowly. This is to check to make sure you have the right notes and the right rhythm. You're playing at the right time. I'm not doing any dynamics or any of that. I'll leave that up to you. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 4 off. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.